Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Plat McCree player. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see some promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. So, you're on McCree, your tank line is Hog Zarya, and your other DPS is a Doomfist. Okay. Why though? Why are you here? Why are you like running in front of your team to go do all this and then standing in the open? Not playing on cover, like, oh, I'm here a little before my team, I'll play on cover. Oh, I'm here before my team, I'll take time to rotate to get a different angle than my team, to rotate to get a different angle than my team. You're walking in front of your team, on the same angle as your team, and you're standing totally in the open away from cover. How do you expect this to go? Have you asked any questions in the AMA, Temporal? No, I haven't. I might do a video sort of going over the AMA, picking out the interesting questions, etc., but I didn't ask any questions myself. Maybe I should. That's a good point. I just hadn't even thought about that. About asking myself. Why do you think you can do this? Why do you think you can just walk through this dangerous space that the opponents clearly control? This dangerous space? Like, what? What? The Winston's gone. If you can shoot him from here, great. If you can't shoot him from here and he gets away, that's fine. You move on to shooting at the Diva. What are you doing? This isn't a place that you can live. You should. Maybe you can give them some good ideas. Yeah, maybe I will. I didn't see how long it's going to last. I just glanced at it very, very briefly, but I'll go take a look at it. But I wanted to get a stream video out now, and then I have a recorded session that I'm doing right after this. So if it's still open after, I'll take a look. Okay. Okay. Let me go back here. Here you are. You're just playing in the open because you think you can do that. What? Okay. Okay. Okay, you roll. Oh, is this cover? Is this cover? 3 ammo reload. What happened? Why? Why must you? Oh my goodness. You can play from here. You can poke at the McCree from here. If you want to transition up to here, so be it. But like, cut this out. A reload's not great. You reload, you cancel it into the roll. You have no business being alive trying that. Oh my goodness. That was not a good idea. You slow down your movement, and he knows you slow down your movement. So he has the ability to calmly line up and hit you with a headshot. Your charge up rate, like if you understand how that charge up rate works, how it's like, okay, I'm going to charge up the damage, it ramps up how much damage it does, and it ramps it up pretty quickly, but for that like first 3/4, first 2/3 of a second, you're not going to eliminate him. And McCree's fire rate is such that he can easily 2-tap you in that time. If he just calmly goes, oh, you can't move and you can't pull the trigger early, and he can calmly 2-tap you. You could have High Noon reloaded. That could have maybe been a thing, but that was not good.
Rendezvous at my position. Group up here.
Back into the mix.
Take the objective. Greetings.
Cool. Wait, why? He's asleep. He's asleep. He's asleep. Okay, he woke up. Fine. Okay. What's your plan? Where are you going to play from? Because you can't just walk forward at this. You can be walking forward to get to here. See how your Zarya was like, I want to advance on this, and now I'm going to play from this angled cover, and you're just like, rah, charge in the open, I have a mercy. What's your plan? What are you advancing towards? Are you advancing towards this cover? I don't know how you're going to beat these three. Like, yes, you have teammates, but you have no cover. If they hard focus you, they're going to get you. Mercy Valk or not. Oh, look, they got you. Nice shot. High Noon is not a reaction to I'm out of tools, I don't like where I am, let me pop High Noon and hope. High Noon is too slow to ramp up its damage to be good for that. It's too slow.
You're welcome.
You don't go they through self-destruct, so let me High Noon to try to get High Noon value before the self-destruct goes off. That is not a good solution.
This life's never uneventful.
That's two interesting High Noons. I think now, Lion. I know when you said that, it had only been one. But why though? My team's going this way, so I'm not interested. I'd prefer that Soldier flanks, but if he's not going to, if he's walking man, I'm going to go this way. And in going this way, I'd immediately see the McCree, and that would mean we don't get rolled by the McCree that's about to roll us. Oh, now you go this way. Okay, it's a shame you didn't check your corner. Please get flashed and fanned. Please get flashed and fanned. Please get flashed and fanned. Oh, unfortunate. Like, and I don't say that because I want you to lose. I want you to get punished for your mistakes so that you can learn from it. You should have, as soon as you saw your soldier going this way, been like, and your hog and your mercy all going this way, you should have been like, nope, I want to go this way. And you'd have instantly seen their McCree, and you'd have been like, oh, okay then.
Now, hold on. Smarts, don't it?
Okay. Why did you roll here? Do you hear that McCree now? Is that why you rolled here? You took the damage that you rolled. Okay, fine. You can't just play in the open, and there's no reason to be reloading with 3 shots here. If you want to get yourself over here, so be it. But there's no reason to be reloading. You will take less damage if you keep them honest with your own weapon play, shooting back at them, threatening to shoot it back at them, as opposed to turning so that you move, oh, I'm going to get here a little bit faster by turning. No, keep him honest. Keep them honest with your own weapon play. If he has to think about his movement, if he has to think about avoiding the damage from you, he is going to do less damage. He's going to be under more pressure to hit his shots. That'll make it more likely that you survive to get to here. If you turn and reload, you can't shoot, and you can't see him. Neither of those are good. This is not a good reload. You've had a lot of bad reloads. I'm just calling this one out. Okay. Okay. They answered that with beat. I'll live.
I've got unfinished business.
Like, that was a risky play, and it was a risky play that you didn't really need to... Oh, fine, I'll talk about it.
Thank you. My ultimate is ready.
Not an amazing reload unless you know that you're going for this. I don't know why you would roll through here. Just finish your reload naturally. Finish your reload naturally. Walk up here. Flash. Fan. So be it. Still have your roll, and roll out. That's all this took. That's all this took. And I'm not super upset, but like, I don't love that you walked out here with your fan to go get her when, quite frankly, this is one of those situations where it's in the middle of chaos. It leaves you vulnerable. Sure would have been nice to be able to fan, roll out, or to be able to flash headshot her, close the angle. This is not me saying that you always need to flash headshot people. Flash fan is fine, but you were in a situation here where you were in a pretty messy situation with the opposing team, in the middle of the opposing team. You weren't coming at these guys from the outside. You weren't coming at them from the outside. You were sort of in the middle here without your roll. Whatever. I'll live. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but on the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that bad. Would it be a good move if he got the Ana? It would be an okay move if he got the Ana. And again, I don't mind that he did it and the beat answered him, etc. But you run into he could have gotten that without, how do I put this? He didn't need to use the roll to transition through there, so he should have still had the roll. He also could have hit his flash headshot from inside the little cubby from in there and been safe. Instead, he flashed and fanned, and fanning causes him, he wants to walk closer to get the more accurate fan, which I totally get, which puts him in the middle of a situation that's a little dicey as opposed to from the outside. So I would have preferred that he not roll, and then if he does that play, it's fine because he can roll out. Or I would have preferred that he goes, well, I don't have my roll anymore, so now I'm going to play on this little cover thing, and I'm going to peek this cover thing and just flash headshot her because that I can do. Like, it's minor. It's minor, but it's two different minor things that each of these things would have been a little bit better for this specific situation. That second part, though, is very, very minor. And I probably shouldn't be talking about Plat yet, but I'll do.
On the objective.
And again, I am not opposed to flash fanning people in the backline. I am not at all opposed to the flank flash fan play. That is totally fine. I don't like using the roll to get in if it can be avoided, and it was definitely avoided there. And I prefer to come from an angle from the outside as opposed to sort of in the middle of it, which is what that was there, because in the middle is more dangerous. And he was caught reloading in the more dangerous situation.
No payment required. This one's on the house.
Okay. Okay, on to round 2.
Team kill. Score 0-1.
I never. I killed only because it was necessary.
Much obliged.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Are we going to lead the team?
Oh,
Why? Why did we feel the need to lead the team? Okay, Zara's in front now. Cool. You want to take an angle or are you going to force main? Fine. Good. Less good.
hold on.
You just reloaded. You just reloaded. Why are you rolling? Why are you rolling? Why do you have such, ooh, I need to be in the fight, 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 that after you've completed your reload, you're going to roll into the open. Take literally a third of a second to keep walking, and you're in a better spot. Here, you're further from cover. Here, you had to walk literally a third of a second, and you'd be shooting from here, etc. If you want to rotate all the way across, so be it. Get yourself a nice angle to play from, maybe here, maybe wrap around deep, go for the end, etc. I can live with that, but you're certainly not going to stop here if that's what you're doing, and you wouldn't use your roll across the safe part. You, if anything, use your roll here, or you'd save your roll so that you'd have it to get out after pressuring the Ana if a diva came to find you or something. But there's no situation where you roll across the safe part, you rolled across the cover. No. No. Please stop pressing forward like you're the tip of a spear. Please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it.
All in days
The
work.
objective is now active.
Why did you roll into the open as opposed to rolling over here where you have a nice concave on them? Yeah, there's a threat of, hey, is there stuff over here? I don't know if there's stuff over here. I'd have loved you to clear over here. I'd have loved you to go do this. I'd have loved you to, as your Sigma was pushing here, check over here. Is there anything? There's not. Let me go over here and pressure from over here. I still have my roll to retreat back if I have to. That's what I'd have loved to see. You've got to be kidding me. I do not need you to stop the point from capping. I don't. Like, you're going to stop the point from capping, and in exchange get eliminated. Ooh, that is such a bad trade. Yes, I'm annoyed at your tanks too, but your tanks aren't the ones being reviewed. And them making a bad move, it doesn't give you license to make a worse move. You have to play off of the bad moves that they're making.
It's high noon.
These high noons. I mean, you've got a little bit of an angle at least. Some of the resources are spent. I don't mind the high noon coming late in the fight necessarily. Okay. It's weird, but okay.
It's high
Not worried. That roll wasn't amazing.
I need a doctor.
Okay, you gonna go high ground? Why?
I need a doctor.
This is not good. It's not. It's not. I know roll is not a terribly long cooldown at 6 seconds here. Like, I know it's not a terribly long cooldown, but it's okay. Walk up this and be here. I know the fight is happening and you're spending time rotating. I totally get it. But it's going to be better to be up here with your roll, either to retreat if you get pushed, or to go, I'm doing work from up here, and now I'm going to roll to sustain to keep doing more work from up here. Not to go, oh, hey, during my safe part, I transition, but to go, hey, during the higher risk part, the part where my sight line is open, where I'm doing a lot of work, I'm going to roll so I can keep doing a lot of work. Those are both better uses of roll than rolling to transition through this. It's not a never. It's not a never. There are times when you roll to transition, but this should not be the regular thing for you. Your roll to take the angle is not amazing. It's not amazing. You much prefer having your roll to retreat or to sustain. There are times when you do this, but please don't do this nearly as often as you are.
Excuse me.
But why though? Okay, shoot her in the head. You don't even need flash, just shoot her in the head. She's basically standing still for you. She's scoped and you're above her, and her strafe pattern isn't going to bother you in the slightest. Don't drop, just shoot her in the head. You're dropping into a situation where you know their ball is back here and can see you dropping. You're dropping into a situation where you are going to be surrounded. There is an enemy here, here, and here, and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to drop right here. Cool, you're going to eliminate the Ana, but like, at what cost? You never want to be here. You never want to be here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Take the easy headshot elimination on her. And if you want to flash her and take the headshot elimination on her from here to make it even easier, fine. But don't drop. Don't drop. You're in a great spot for taking her out and having a disproportionate amount of influence on the fight. Now you're dropping into the fight.
Excuse me.
Fortunately, roll's just about back. Fortunately, the ball gave up his position. The concave on you isn't quite as bad. Still not great. Oh, wait. You're basically on the same... Against this team, you're basically on the same angle as your team now. And you're in front of your team. If you're on a different angle than your team, you can be in front of them. If you're on the same angle as your team, you can't be in front of them. How did you end up in this situation? Well, you dropped into the opponent's concave.
Thank you, Captain.
Fine.
Enemies in our orbit.
Hey,
So you're saying you shouldn't roll to a health pack? You could roll to a health pack. That would be fine. Yeah, these Tynoons are very interesting. I want to see the next one.
needed killing.
Okay.
Need healing. Like a man.
Why?
I need healing.
I have 5 shots. I know that there will be things on my 4 shots. I know that there will be things on my screen. Even if I don't see that Lucio this instant, I know there will be things on my screen to shoot at because I know the Genji will be interested in pursuing me and I already know he's back there. I know there's action going on over here and I know something went this way. I know all of these things just from your perspective and that tells me there will be something on my screen. There's no way I can justify a reload because I will be stuck reloading trying to get the new bullets in there while there's enemies in my face, while there's things I'd like to be shooting at. Like, I know that even if we discount this Lucio. And you should too. Oh, look, there were things you could have shot at right over there during the entirety of your reload. That's 2 shots you could have put into Diva instead of reloading.
You're like a man possessed. I need healing. Almost time for a
Please respect him more than this. If you want to open with headshotting him here, no problem. If you want to open by trying to flash him, I can live with it. Because he's not looking at you and there's a decent chance that you just get it off. The roll flash is a little more questionable that you get it off, but I can live with it. That is a reasonable risk to take to flash him, even to roll flash him. It's also reasonable to go, nope, I'm just going to headshot him and I'm going to take a straight duel with advantage because I'll get the opening shot. Cool. You've committed. You didn't get that shot. You got the body shot. You've now committed to this duel. Totally fine with that. This is great. This sucks. Why am I rolling at him and why am I flashing him? I've no longer surprised him. He's going to pop deflect for my flashbang. It is going to happen. Have more respect for your opponent than this.
Now, hold on. It's
You just use High Noon as like a I'm out of cooldowns, I feel like doing something move. It's really interesting. It's not right, but it's really interesting. And the reason it's not right is you end up using it in these situations where you can't possibly or you can't reasonably charge it up. The problem is High Noon is too weak for the beginning of High Noon. Like, you actually need... Using it later in fights has value because cooldowns are gone, but using it just like when you're empty, when you haven't set it up at all, and not just for a reload, is more of an issue because you end up in these situations like this where you stand still, you're vulnerable, and there's just very little chance you're going to be able to charge it up enough to actually get work done with it, to actually get an elimination, because its acceleration at the beginning on damage is so minor. Like, you need to be able to be, hey, I have some level of safety, I have some level of a serious off angle, etc. And high ground is kind of some level of safety, but it really wasn't quite enough here. This wasn't set up quite enough for you to go off on it, and you're really, in general, using your High Noons like this. And it's just not quite going to work. Like, it's almost work. If they buffed High Noon a little bit, it might work, but it's not quite going to work how you're using it as this, like, tempo thing, unless you truly want to use it as a tempo thing, where it's just a reload, and you can pop it and immediately escape cancel it, and be like, yep, and I've got 6 shots again. That's fine. That's a totally valid High Noon. Okay. I don't love it.
Whoa there. That'll learn you.
Damage increase.
You're fully healed.
This must be a low plat mixed team. Because everyone's not pressing Q at the same time. Could be. Maybe it's one of those games where it's like it's got a bunch of groups in it. So it's like there's a 2-person over here and a 3-person over here and maybe whatever. And it's got like a bunch of stuff like that. So it's like here's a silver, here's a plat, here's a gold and a plat and a silver or whatever. Maybe it's one of those that's causing it to be the really weird game. And I'm
My
joking,
ultimate
but
is
I'm feeding into Blah's joke there, where in plat, all of the Qs get pressed at once. Okay. So, like, this is sort of okay, except it's all one firing lane. You and both of your off tanks are shooting down the same firing lane. Like, it's not that powerful. It's really not that powerful to all be shooting down the same firing lane. You'd really prefer if you could get it to be like, hey, I'm going to shoot from over here. And I might do this somewhat passively. I might shoot from like here. Or if the diva wasn't there, I might shoot from like here and then try to roll away this way if they start to come at all. It's a little dicey because there's not a good retreat path here. Or I might just say, this sucks, I don't want to fight them here, I'm going to stay up here on high ground. But Shahans has already done that. But like, this isn't amazing at all, really. Would much prefer to have an angle. Would much.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay. That looked like it hit for a second, but okay.
Oh, excuse
Have my friend.
Okay.
Rest in peace.
Why are we reloading? I expect there's shots. Like, you hit the reload button before you turned to look this way to see if there were shots on that ball. Was this ball right here where you could see him? Was this ball right here where you could see him? I don't know. You pressed the reload button before turning to check. Wouldn't he have the same angle as his Hanzo then? If he's here, no. If he's here, yes he would. And I wouldn't necessarily mind him having the same angle as his Hanzo, though he could make it a little different by playing from here. He could also choose to play from here. Like, yes, it would be the same angle as his Hanzo, but this isn't great. Like, this wasn't great. I really would have wanted pressure on them from another direction. The truth is I'd have preferred Sigma, who can hold his ground a little bit better, to hold this other direction, but I'm not going to get what I want. So he has to adjust. Like, my having larger complaints about his tanks doesn't mean that he doesn't have to adapt to what his tanks are doing, even if his tanks are being wrong.
Heroes never die. I'm taking care.
Why? Not sure why you're reloading. Cancel the reload into a roll. Great, you have 4 shots left. 3 shots left. 2 shots left. Still had 2 shots left. No reason you can't stay up here and keep trying to headshot the Lucio. No reason.
Easy. Easy.
4 shots, 3 shots, 2 shots. Why? Why are we rolling? Is it for the ball? Are you rolling to avoid the ball? I hope that was a roll to avoid the ball. I don't know what that reload was.
Let them up.
Oh, look, angles are amazing. Amazing. You rushed that shot on Vienna. She wasn't going to pay attention to you until you shot at her.
Oh, that'll be fine. It's high noon.
Okay.
It's high noon.
Like, remember, a better Lucio would happily dunk on you here. Happily. It's not that you can't turn fast enough to keep up with him. It's that he can literally be like, you are standing still for me. Let me just drop a full burst of shots into your head. Full burst of shots. Full burst of shots. No, not boop. Full burst of left click into your head. So, like, this is working because the Lucios aren't good yet. But you're standing still, effectively, when you're doing that. So, like, this is one of those, like, you're basically at the upper limit of when you can do this way that you're using your high noons. And I know you want to go higher on the ladder, so it's unfortunate, but what works to get you here will not get you here. Okay.
Smart.
Ouch.
The battle continues.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you kindly.
Sure. This high noon was reasonable. You had a different angle than your team. You weren't really under pressure when you used it. It's a cleanup high noon, but it's fine.
Valkyrie is almost ready.
Okay. There's lots of things we could hone in on here. We could hone in on your reloads. We could hone in on your cover. We could hone in on your high noons. We could hone in on angle control. We could hone in on your rolls that are not amazing. We could hone in on how you take duels and not having enough respect. I suspect we're going to come in on something in the range of reloads and cover. Would like to talk about your high noons more seriously, but I'm not sure we're going to get to because they're not the biggest thing right now based on what we're seeing. They need help, but they're not going to get you the biggest return on investment. Cool. Right idea. Right idea. Who are you and what did you do with my McCree player? Yeah, I don't mind that you lost. You did the right thing here.
Need a doctor.
So here we go. This is reasonable. You roll to avoid, fine. Okay. Now you even get the mercy help, that's great. And you try to force this, but unfortunately
Oh there.
you go for the so the baby diva isn't actually the threat, you have to eliminate the McCree here. That's all. The target selection issue. You got both of them with the stun, you needed the McCree. I'm not sure you knew the McCree was there because it was sort of hidden by the mech being destroyed.
Let's start over at the beginning. Thanks. You're on my tab.
Owie. Now why did this happen?
Group up here.
Here you are. Well, we rolled into combat. We are on an off angle from our team, but we rolled into combat, so that's the first question.
Thanks. Put it
Okay.
on my tab.
We're shooting them in the back. Not sure at all about that flashbang. Like, that was very, very hopeful, we'll say.
Don't move.
This is good. You're playing with the cover. You're playing near it. You're trying to do the work. Do you recognize that this has started to go south, though? That your team is gone? Like, that they're about to turn their attention to you? Yeah, you don't. Like, you start to. I see your backwards momentum, but you're just a little too slow to realize it.
No! Routing power to forward area.
No, 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 no. Is your team threatening over here? They're not. Your team is not threatening over here. Is your team threatening over here in front of you? No. No, they're not. So why are you pressing W here? Why are you doing that?
I always like to work.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Okay, he's gone. That's fine. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Whoa there.
If your Sigma won't push, and I understand why your Sigma won't push because Hog isn't here, your job becomes to take angles like Hanzo is doing. See Hanzo's solution? Hanzo's solution to my Sigma won't push is I'm going to pop up here on a slightly different angle and pepper them from above. Your solution, because you can't go vertical, has to be, well, I guess I'm going to go over here and shoot at the ball and shoot at the diva and maybe shoot at the Anna, etc. And if they come push me, I can back out. And I still have my roll because I didn't use my roll to take this, so I can back out with my roll if I have to. Or I can sustain on the angle with the roll. I can get an elimination or two, pop my roll, get another one. And then if they trade me out, I don't care.
Let them up. It's high noon.
You're not going to find anything. Your team doesn't have any angle control. Like, again, this high noon, you're using it because you're out of resources, and you're not immediately canceling it for the reload. You don't have any resources here. You don't have an off angle, like, when I say resources, you don't have an off angle, like your window's going and your high noon are going basically on the same angle to threaten this way. This would be really powerful if you had a window here and a high noon here, or a window here and a high noon like here, because cover against the window might not be cover against the high noon, or cover against the high noon might not be cover against the window. You want to threaten different spots with them. You want to like cross them, angles, so that cover from one is not cover against the other. You don't want to do this because it's the same angle. You haven't forced the team into the open in any way. You're not going to get anything.
Draw.
Why didn't she flash the May? She's going to be hesitant to use her ice block. She just dropped that. I'd be willing to flash that. She's not looking at you. She just used her wall. She's going to be... Meys are generally hesitant to use their ice block while their wall's up, because when they use their ice block, it puts them in a situation where I'm not contributing anything. I'm very passive. I'm very much out of this fight. When they use their wall, that is their big aggressive push move. Their team needs to be getting value while their wall is happening. So if they're removing themselves from the fight while the wall is in play, they've effectively wasted their wall. So they're going to be extra hesitant to use it, plus she's not looking at you. Just take your free elimination.
Hold on.
Too slow. Ouch. Okay. Statue McCree.
It ain't my time. Just what the doctor ordered.
Does this look right? Does this look right? It's cool that you happened to win this fight on the side, but does this look right? Your team doesn't look ready to push for me. I don't think you've earned this yet. Your Genji's doing something over here, so that's buying you a little bit of space, and you're trying to win this space on your own, but there's very little reason that they can't reinforce this and punish you, which is what this Mei is now trying to do. So, like, I would really prefer, taking the angle is good, but I'd really prefer you let your team be a little bit more of a threat before you try to push this. Generally, you take your angle while your tanks are pushing. The one-shot reload when other targets are available. Yeah. Why? Why?
It's high noon.
I need help.
Drop.
You don't need to roll. You just high nooned and used one shot. You had 5 in your clip.
Let them up.
You realize you have plenty of tanks along. You have plenty of sustain on point. You don't need to just be in the center of point with no cover here. Oh, cover! No flash, and he knows it. Oh, but he's not good. Okay. You have a chance. Sorry, I forget that Plat Lucios are frequently not threatening.
You should be at peak performance levels. Let's get you back out there.
Thanks. Put it on my tab.
Fine. You're going to have to roll. You aren't tight enough on cover, so you're going to have to roll. You see this? How you're in the middle here? If you're playing right here, with this covering like 40% of your screen, you're safe. You're safe. If you're playing like here, where you're like, hey, I'm like this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm safe. I'm safe. This isn't quite so amazing. You've now drifted a little bit, but you were center to them. You were centered to them, and you're just now drifting left to close the angle. And then because of that, you're forced to use your roll to protect yourself. Shouldn't have been necessary to use your roll to protect yourself here.
Heroes never die.
It's high.
What?
It's high noon.
Fine.
Draw.
I'm actually fine with this. No problem. Play from right here. You're totally fine. Play from right here. Why are you here? Why are you here? You rolled into this.
Excuse me.
Even if you'd gotten that flash limb, your ability to then get out was going to be very, very compromised. Very compromised. It was very unlikely that you were going to do better than trade 1-for-1 there. You don't want to trade 1 for 1. You want to do better than that. If you go here, you might be able to do that same play, but trade 2 for 1, 3 for 1. That's fine. If you play from here, you can keep poking. If you play from here, you keep poking. Even if you play from here and do a more passive play and just peek this and are like, I'm not doing any of the run into you flash shenanigans, I'm just going to poke you from here, you can potentially get 1, then leave. Get 2. Get 1, then someone comes after you. Get damage, and then someone comes after you. And you choose to back up and either fight them or roll back towards your team. Or you choose to hold this angle so that they can't push in. Like, all of those are better. I'm running out of time. Good. Okay.
Victory.
So,
It ain't
for your
much
McCree,
time.
Peak performance.
I really, really want you to understand that you are not the tip of the spear. You don't want to just exist in the middle of a point. You don't want to push ahead of your tanks. I don't mind pushing when you're, I don't mind you pushing up on off angles, but you can't push up like this. You can't push up like this when your team is back here. You have to use your team as a credible threat. You are in the always go, go, go mode. Always push, push, push. Always be doing something. Always walk at them. Flash, fan, walk forward, shoot them. That's what you're in, and you just need to be like, nope. Let me assess. Before I open this angle, let me assess. Where's my team? Is my team a credible threat? Great, I can open this angle. My team's not a credible threat? I probably don't want to open this angle. I probably don't want to walk forward. I want my team to be a credible threat, and then I don't want to run in front of my tanks. I want to take my angle. If I'm going to be with core, so be it. There's times where that makes sense. I'm going to let my tanks go in first. I'm not going to just go in like this. Am I occasionally going to do a flash play? Yeah, I might occasionally do a flash play. Occasionally do a flash play from main. And honestly, I'm not going to be getting super aggressive with that. And as soon as I've completed it, I'm going to back off. I'm going to tuck myself out on an angle. I'm not going to let myself be found here very often. I'm much more happy to be here. I'm okay with being here. Hope that makes sense. That is the single biggest thing that is going to help you. Understanding what your team's engagement timing looks like and understanding what your positioning looks like. Like, I can't be here. I could be here. I'd like to be here. I'd like to be here. I'd like to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I can be here. You've got to understand. You've got to understand that if you're going to get value out of this hero. Beyond that, the next thing I'd work on is your reloads. You are missing out on a lot. Like, this first thing I covered is way more fundamental, but you are missing out on a lot with your reloads. You're forcing a lot of reloads when there's other enemies on your screen, or there should be opponents on your screen, and they're just not because you're not looking at them. They're there, you're just not looking at them. Your screen is in this direction. You don't have cover against this enemy. You're reloading, but you should be looking at this enemy and shooting them. That's what you should be doing. So fix your reloads. You're wasting a lot like that. I'm not actually going to talk about your high noons because while they're wrong, and I've talked about them plenty, they're not what you most need to work on to improve, and I don't want to take away from these first 2 points. There's other things we could talk about too, but I don't want to give you 6 things. I really want you to work on those 2.5 things that I just gave you. And that first 1.5 are really more important than your reload. You've got to fundamentally understand how McCree works, how engagement timing works, because you don't right now, and it shows. You're just like, rah, go, and it's really hurting you. Okay, I'm out of time, so I'm going to have to end this here, but we finished just in time. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have coming up, all that good stuff. I don't see any questions, and I don't have time to wait for any questions, so we're going to call it there. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.